Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to look at history in a totally different way. So I want you to forget the long lists of kings, the boring dates. We're replacing all of that with something way more powerful.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. What if we reimagine the whole story of civilization not as a straight timeline, but more like a technology tree from a video game? You know, where each new discovery unlocks the next level for all of humanity.
So that's the big idea for today. We're going to explore how ancient India evolved through a series of these game-changing inventions, each one built on the last, shaping everything from their cities to their social structures. It's a fascinating way to see it.
So how did it all get started? Well, the very first branch on our tech tree, the foundational one, was forged from the simplest material you can think of, stone.
Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer scale of time. I mean, look at that. For over 60,000 years, humanity was basically stuck on level 1, just surviving as hunter-gatherers. Then, around 10,000 BCE, something big starts to shift. The planet warms up, new tools pop up, and the stage is set for an absolute revolution.
And this shift is the crucial point. This is the whole game. Humanity went from just taking whatever nature gave them to actively shaping nature to their will. This is what we call the Neolithic Revolution. Instead of wandering around, we started settling down. Instead of just hoping to find food, we began controlling our own food supply. You could argue this was the single biggest unlock in all of human history.
And we have proof. This slide really brings that change to life. At sites like Mehergarh, which is in modern-day Pakistan, we find some of the earliest evidence of farming anywhere in the subcontinent. People weren't just picking wild wheat anymore, they were intentionally planting it, cultivating it, and even growing cotton. They were laying the literal groundwork for everything that was about to come.
Okay, so with a stable food supply, humanity basically leveled up. People could now gather in huge numbers, they could specialize in different crafts, and they could start experimenting with new materials. And that led us right into the Age of Bronze and the birth of the city as we know it.
Now, mastering bronze was a massive technological leap. We're not just talking about a shinier metal here. No, it was harder, way more durable, and you could cast it into all sorts of complex shapes. This new material on the tech tree gave its users a huge advantage, allowing them to build a world far beyond anything that was possible with just stone.
And just look at what they built with it. The Indus Valley Civilization created the world's very first planned cities. I'm talking about grid-pattern roads, standardized bricks, even sophisticated drainage and sewage systems. This was not some random collection of mud huts. This was a highly organized, complex urban blueprint, and it was all made possible by their mastery of bronze.
But here's the mystery. After centuries of incredible success, this entire civilization just vanishes. Their writing is still undeciphered to this day, and their incredible cities were just abandoned. It leaves us with one of history's greatest puzzles.
Well, the most plausible theory is a pretty sobering one. They may have been victims of their own success. See, to fuel all those brick kilns for their cities and to expand their farms, they likely engaged in massive deforestation. This probably changed local rainfall patterns, turning what were once fertile plains into desert. Their incredible branch on the tech tree basically hit a dead end because their success destroyed the very environment they relied on.
The next great technological leap forged an entirely new kind of power. You see, if bronze built cities, then iron built empires. It was cheaper to make, it was more widespread, and ultimately it was way more disruptive.
This slide shows that chain reaction perfectly. First, the iron axe allowed humans to clear the incredibly dense forests of the Gangetic Plains for the first time in history. Then, the iron plow could till that hard soil. This led to a huge agricultural surplus, which, in turn, could support bigger populations, professional armies, and complex states, all the raw materials you need for an empire.
So you can imagine, this economic explosion forced society to totally reorganize itself. With so much new wealth and so many new jobs, from soldiers and administrators to priests and merchants, a whole new social structure was needed just to manage the complexity of it all.
And this table just brilliantly illustrates that change. In the earlier Vedic period, your social role, or your varna, was based on your job, your karma. A single family could have a teacher, a warrior, and a farmer, all living under one roof. But as the Iron Age economy really took hold, these roles became hereditary, based on your birth, or vansh. The entire social script was rewritten.
This brings us to the final branch of our tech tree, and you know what? It's not a material one. It's the social script itself, the ideas, the traditions, and the structures forged in this ancient past that continue to shape our world even today.
The key takeaway here is that history isn't over. It's not in a box. The social systems, the cultural norms, and the traditions that began thousands of years ago, they didn't just disappear. They evolved, and in many ways they form the source code for so much of modern society.
And that leaves us with one last thought. We've seen how just a few key technologies completely remade the ancient world. So it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's the single defining technology of our age? And what kind of world and what kind of social script is it building for our future? Thanks so much for joining me.